Stop what you're doing. What you are about to hear is not motivation. It is a declaration of war against your own weakness. You can either internalize this truth and ascend to power, or you can ignore it and remain exactly where you are, predictable, negotiable, and forgettable for the next decade. Just days ago, I watched a man surrender his entire dignity. He wasted 40 minutes desperately explaining himself to someone who clearly despised him, pathetically seeking validation from an individual who didn't deserve a single second of his time. These men are not rare, they are everywhere. Perhaps you recognize yourself in that defeated stance. Perhaps you are profoundly tired of being underestimated, overlooked, and treated like your presence doesn't matter. Understand this fundamental law. You are not lacking confidence because you were born weak. You lack confidence because you were programmed to be that way, trained, conditioned, and strategically managed to be predictable, controllable, and easy to dismiss. Society preaches pretty rules designed to maintain order. But 5 centuries ago, one man decoded the true, brutal principles that govern power, strength, and success. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli, and he wrote the ultimate handbook for becoming unstoppable. I'm talking about becoming an entity who walks into any room and alters its gravity, the type who speaks once, and everyone leans in and listens, the type who sets a single, firm boundary, and it is respected, always. I'm talking about becoming someone who is fundamentally immune to intimidation, impossible to manipulate, and incapable of being stopped. Someone whose very presence commands natural, immediate respect. Someone who plays by a different, higher set of rules because they operate on an entirely different level of psychological warfare. In the minutes ahead, I will transmit 8 absolute principles, the core tenets of Machiavellian psychological dominance, that will transform you from someone who gets overlooked to someone who gets demanded, from someone who begs for validation to someone who commands it, from someone who merely hopes for the best to someone who prepares for excellence and ensures results. But here is your final warning. Once you assimilate these truths, you cannot revert to naivety. Once you understand how influence truly works, you cannot pretend to be innocent again. Once you become unstoppable, there is no returning to being controllable. Now, drop your affirmation in the comments and seal your fate. I refuse to be held back. I choose to be unstoppable. Are you finally ready to claim that power? The first commandment: terminate the uncertain self. Right now, your mind is the stage for a civil war. 2 distinct entities are vying for control of your life. One is uncertain, relentlessly apologetic, and desperate for external approval. The other is confident, self-assured, and commands respect without effort. Every choice you make, every word you utter, either strengthens one of these selves and weakens the other. Today, we initiate a psychological campaign to starve the uncertain self and aggressively feed the confident one. Your uncertain self is merely a lifetime of conditioning. It's the persistent voice that screams, "Be nice," when someone clearly disrespects you. It's what compels you to say sorry, even when you have committed no offense. It is the part of you that frantically explains yourself to people who should, by all rights, be explaining their behavior to you. This passive programming began early. Your parents demanded obedience, your teachers sought manageability, and society requires you to be utterly predictable. But here is the fatal flaw. Manageable men do not build empires. Manageable men are perpetually overlooked and inevitably forgotten. Your uncertain self has been dictating your trajectory your entire life. It is the root cause of why you tolerate disrespect, why you grant people unlimited second chances, and why you consistently prioritize everyone else's needs above your own. It's the very reason you are consuming this video instead of living the powerful life you truly desire. But your uncertain self harbors a critical fear, a truth you must assimilate. Every time you choose to be kind to someone who hasn't earned it, You are being fundamentally unkind to your sovereign self. Every time you allow a boundary to be crossed, you are explicitly teaching the transgressor that your standards are meaningless. Machiavelli stated this plainly. He who is not master of himself will always be a servant of others. The languages of power and weakness. You must learn to instantly recognize the linguistic difference between these two internal forces. The uncertain self speaks the language of fear and avoidance. I don't want to hurt their feelings. Or, maybe I just misunderstood. The confident self speaks the language of authority and strength. I refuse to compromise my standards. Or, I understood perfectly, and I do not appreciate what I understood. The uncertain self always argues for extending another chance. The confident self simply states, they already used their chance. The transformation you seek is not a sudden, violent act. It is a sustained, strategic choice. When your boundaries are tested, your uncertain self demands you explain why the boundary exists. Your confident self simply enforces the boundary with decisive silence and zero explanation. When someone disrespects you, your uncertain self struggles to understand why you were targeted. Your confident self instantly pivots to responding with appropriate, cold consequences. When your time is wasted, your uncertain self manufactures excuses for the offender. Your confident self protects your time with the unwavering vigilance reserved for gold. Start paying meticulous attention to which voice is making your critical decisions. When you feel the familiar urge to apologize for something that was not your fault, that is the uncertain self trying to maintain its control. When you are about to justify yourself to someone who owes you the apology, that is the uncertain self seeking external approval. You must transform this mindset not with self-hatred, but with strategic choice. Choose strength over approval. Choose respect over being merely liked. Choose being influential over being popular. Your uncertain self will predictably resist this change. It will remind you of past struggles, highlight the people who might abandon you, and try to convince you that becoming influential makes you a bad person. Let it complain, let it rage, let it ultimately transform. Because on the far side of that internal conflict is the man you are meant to be. A man who does not apologize for taking up space. A man who does not explain himself to people who hold no consequence. A man who does not beg for respect because he commands it naturally. Choose influence. Drop this affirmation in the comments to seal your new identity. My uncertain self is transforming. My confident self is rising. The second commandment. Build the unshakable fortress mind. Your mind is currently the most vulnerable territory you possess. Right now, it's likely a state of perpetual chaos. Every criticism cuts deep. Every professional setback feels like a personal verdict. And every challenge immediately triggers an overwhelming emotional reflex. This mental anarchy is precisely what's keeping you predictable, manageable, and fundamentally stalled. Today, we terminate that chaos. We are building a psychological fortress that absolutely nothing external can penetrate. The fortress mind does not react emotionally to external events. It processes them with surgical, strategic detachment. When an adversary criticizes you, your fortress mind does not suffer hurt. It instantly registers information about that person's character and intent. When someone disappoints you, your mind doesn't register surprise. It receives confirmation of a predictable pattern it already suspected. Most men exist at the mercy of their wild, untamed emotions. They surrender to anger and make catastrophic impulsive decisions. They buckle under pain and make weak apologetic compromises. They freeze in fear and make no decisions at all. Their emotions are like wild horses, dragging them wherever the immediate feeling demands. Your fortress mind is fundamentally different. For the strategist, emotions become pure, valuable data points. Anger tells you a boundary was crossed that must now be enforced. Pain tells you someone revealed their true nature, requiring strategic withdrawal. Fear tells you you are standing at the threshold of a necessary growth. The fortress mindset in action. Your first step is to stop taking everything personally. When someone treats you poorly, they are not revealing a flaw in your character. They are revealing a structural deficit in their own. When someone desperately tries to manipulate you, they are not exposing your weakness. They are screaming their own desperation and lack of true leverage. Machiavelli once said, "A wise man acts in the present, shaping the future." Your fortress mind operates on this strategic logic. It expects challenges and betrayal from people, not because you are negative or cynical, but because you are prepared and armed for reality. When you expect obstacles, disappointment transforms into a manageable data point. When you expect setbacks, success becomes a powerful, strategic surprise. Imagine a superior publicly tears down your presentation, focusing on your tone rather than the facts. The average mind collapses, feeling shame. The fortress mind thinks, "This is not about the presentation. This is about their insecurity. They are threatened by my clarity. I will use a calm, factual defense that exposes their emotional attack without lowering my own composure." Strategic analysis and immunity. You must train your mind to see patterns instead of isolated incidents. That person who misled you once is now categorized as unreliable. That friend who constantly speaks negatively about others to you is absolutely flagged as someone who speaks negatively about you to others. That person who disrespected you when they thought they could get away with it will inevitably do it again if you allow them. Your fortress mind processes everything as essential learning opportunities. Every casual conversation teaches you about human nature. Every interaction reveals someone's true, prioritized agenda. Every conflict shows you who is truly supportive and who is a parasitic ally. Practice emotional immunity. When something triggers anger, pause. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me about my position, and how can I turn this into leverage? When something hurts, analyze it. What behavioral pattern am I seeing in this person that I should have predicted? When something concerns you, examine it. What am I really worried about, and what is the strategic solution to that worry? The fortress mind does not mean you become emotionless. It means you become emotion-proof. You still feel things. That is unavoidable. But your feelings no longer control your decisions. Logic controls your choices. Strategy controls your actions. Influence controls your life. Most men have fragile, brittle minds that crack at the first sign of pressure. You are building something engineered to withstand any psychological storm. Build your fortress. Make it unshakable, because once it's complete, nothing external, no insult, no betrayal, no crisis, can disturb the real, sovereign you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind is a fortress. My thoughts are tools. The third commandment, master the art of strategic silence. The loudest man in the room is universally the most insecure. He talks because he's nervous. He explains because he's fundamentally uncertain. He argues because he's desperate for external validation. You are going to be the absolute opposite. You are going to internalize the truth that silence is the ultimate non-negotiable display of confidence. When you cease to explain yourself, a profound strategic transformation occurs. People begin to respect you more. They stop questioning your decisions. They immediately cease testing your boundaries, and they start treating you like someone who possesses knowledge they do not. This is because, fundamentally, you do know something they don't. Your worth does not depend on their comprehension. You owe absolutely no one an explanation for your choices. You do not need to justify your standards. You are not required to defend your boundaries. The fatal moment you begin explaining yourself to someone who challenges you, you are willingly granting them authority over you. Think about the most influential people you know. Do they constantly explain their actions? Do they justify every business decision? Do they argue with everyone who questions their motives? Of course not. They make decisions and move forward. They set boundaries and maintain them. They speak only when they have something definitive to say. Machiavelli's wisdom holds true. The lion does not need to roar to be respected. Your strategic silence makes you intriguing. When people cannot read you easily, they are compelled to respect your depth. They imagine you are more strategic than you are. They assume you are planning something significant, and they effectively give you influence you never even had to claim. The scenario of the unearned explanation. To understand the cost of explaining yourself, picture this common workplace dynamic. You decline a non-essential, time-consuming project from a manipulative coworker. The average man immediately launches into a frantic, lengthy explanation. I can't do it because my schedule is packed, and I have to pick up my kid, and my doctor appointment is tomorrow, and my car is breaking down. You are begging for his understanding and giving him ammunition for rebuttal. The master of silence, however, simply looks the coworker in the eye and states, "My priorities do not align with that request. No," and immediately changes the subject or moves to leave. Your silence in that moment is your power. When you do speak, your words must carry immense impact. Because you have been selective with your words, people pay attention. Because you don't waste energy on rhetoric, every word carries immense weight. Because you don't over-explain when you finally speak, everyone listens carefully and remembers your position. Wielding strategic quiet practice, strategic silence starting today. When someone accuses you of something utterly unreasonable, like being cold or selfish, do not defend yourself. Just calmly observe them. When someone demands answers you don't wish to give, don't explain your refusal. Simply state no or, "That is not something I will discuss," and maintain your quiet composure. When someone attempts to manufacture drama or draw you into a pointless argument, do not engage. Just physically remove yourself from their presence. Watch what inevitably happens. The person who is addicted to getting emotional reactions from you suddenly loses their balance. They escalate their tactics, frantically trying to trigger the familiar emotional response. When they fail to get it, they either back down completely or reveal their true desperate character. Either way, you win. Your silence is a fortress that protects you from saying things you will instantly regret later. How many men have sabotaged their careers with words they wished they could retract? How many necessary relationships have been destroyed by refusing to walk away from a fight? The silent man never has this problem. He speaks only when speaking explicitly serves his strategic purpose. He stays quiet when quiet protects his position. He never, under any circumstances, gives his challengers ammunition to use against him. Let other men fill the air with noise and useless chatter. You will fill the room with palpable presence. Let them waste their finite energy on words. You will save your energy for decisive action. Silent men are influential men, not because they are physically intimidating, but because they are psychologically unpredictable. Your adversaries never know what you are truly thinking. They never know the full extent of what you are capable of. They never know precisely when you will make your next move. Let them wonder, let them guess, let them respect what they can't easily understand. Your silence is your superpower. Use it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks louder than their noise. The fourth commandment. Turn setbacks into strategic fuel. Here's a truth that will save you years of crippling frustration. People will disappoint you. Your closest friend will choose their self-interest over your loyalty. Your business partner will choose money over character. People you trust will fail you when the stakes are highest. This is not pessimism. This is the cold, necessary realism required for survival. And once you assimilate this reality, disappointment becomes immediately manageable because you anticipated it all along. Most men are psychologically destroyed by disappointment because they foolishly cling to idealistic expectations. They are blindsided because they believed people were better than their demonstrated patterns. They trusted blindly instead of observing carefully, and they tragically confused surface niceness with authentic character. When disappointment inevitably hits them, they collapse, unable to process how someone could betray their faith. They waste months in agonizing confusion, replaying conversations and searching for signs they consciously ignored. You are going to be fundamentally different. You are going to expect challenges and use every setback as fuel for your relentless growth. Disappointment is pure information. It shows you precisely who people are when pressure is applied. It reveals character flaws that were expertly hidden beneath masks and pleasant words. It teaches you lessons about human nature that you couldn't learn any other way. Every disappointment contains a chilling gift: the clarity of seeing clearly. Before the betrayal, you might have been confused about someone's true motives. After the betrayal, you possess exact, actionable knowledge. The scenario of calculated disillusionment. To understand this transformation, picture this devastating but common scenario. You have a longtime friend who is also your essential partner on a project that guarantees both of you financial success. At the critical moment, the final pitch, the funding deadline, your friend, knowing you rely on them, uses the opportunity to secretly leverage your mutual client for their own, separate, slightly larger deal, leaving you with a compromised, inferior position. The average man is annihilated by the feeling of betrayal and spends his energy raging at the injustice. You, the strategist, simply register, information confirmed. Their price is slightly more money, and their loyalty is contingent on zero stress. Machiavelli once said, "Men are unpredictable, changeable, and self-serving." The man who truly understands this is never caught off guard. He builds his plans assuming people will act only in their own immediate interest. He creates necessary backup plans for when current allies become future adversaries. He never puts the absolute entirety of his success in someone else's hands, transforming wound into fuel. Here is the secret that transforms disappointment from a crippling wound into powerful, strategic fuel. Disappointment is proof that you are rising. People don't betray people beneath them. They betray people who possess something they desperately want. They disappoint people who are ascending toward genuine success. Every disappointment is quantifiable evidence that you are becoming someone worth envying. Wear it like a badge of honor. When disappointment comes, and it will come, you must respond like a strategist, not like a victim. Do not waste energy on the ephemeral pain of hurt feelings. Channel that energy directly into strategic thinking. Ask 3 critical questions. What did this disappointment teach you about human nature? How can you immediately use this information to close a vulnerability in your current plan? What weakness in your own approach did this person successfully exploit? Sometimes the best response to disappointment is complete surgical distance. You remove the offender from your life like a toxic infection. No explanations, no second chances, no dramatic confrontations. They are simply gone, removed, done. Sometimes the superior response is strategic patience. You note the transgression, file it away as leverage, and wait for the perfect, calculated moment. Then you use their own predictable unreliability against them when that timing serves your interests best. Use disappointment as your necessary education. It will teach you precisely who deserves your limited trust and who deserves your relentless caution. It will show you how to protect your most sensitive vulnerabilities. It will fundamentally force you to become self-reliant instead of pathetically people-dependent. The man who has survived multiple disappointments and grown stronger is infinitely more capable than the man who has never been tested. Disappointment is your formal graduation from naive trust to strategic thinking. Most men let disappointment make them bitter and closed off. You are going to let disappointment make you smarter and more selectively engaged, because the fifth commandment, silence critics through undeniable excellence. Here is the predictable self-sabotaging pattern of the uncertain man when faced with opposition. He argues, he defends, he explains, he wastes enormous amounts of precious time and finite energy trying to change minds that were never going to change anyway. Your critics are not the core of your problem. Your emotional response to criticism is your vulnerability. When you argue with critics, you are making a fatal error. You grant them equal standing with you. You are publicly declaring that their ill-informed opinion matters enough to merit a debate. You are treating them as peers when they are, in fact, utterly unqualified to judge your trajectory. Your immediate mission is to stop dignifying bad faith criticism with good faith responses. Stop treating every random, unqualified opinion as though it deserves hours of consideration. Stop allowing people who have achieved nothing substantial to judge the character of someone who is building everything. The path to irrelevant criticism, the path to silencing critics is not found in winning arguments. It is found in winning at life. When your results speak so loudly that they drown out their complaints, the criticism dies in their throats. When your success makes their words look foolish, they are compelled to stop saying them. Machiavelli once observed, "Let no one think that they can overcome fortune with complaints." You, the strategist, will overwhelm criticism with undeniable excellence. You will suffocate doubt with consistent, measurable results. You will silence gossip with visible, magnetic success. Your energy must be ruthlessly focused on building, not defending. Every minute you spend arguing with critics is a minute you are not spending getting stronger. Every hour you waste explaining yourself is an hour you are not investing in your essential growth. Let your work, your tangible output, do all the talking. Let your results answer the questions. Let your undeniable progress silence the noise completely. When people consistently witness your success, their criticism does not disappear. It transforms into something else. Envy. And envy is just grudging respect wearing a flimsy disguise. The weapon of irrelevance. To understand the power of irrelevance, picture two highly relatable scenarios. The professional saboteur. A specific coworker constantly minimizes your ideas in meetings, saying, "That's too simple, it will never scale." The weak response is to argue the technical merits, wasting 15 minutes of meeting time defending your proposal. The masterful response is to ignore the noise and spend that time building a pilot program. When you return 3 weeks later and show the immediate, measurable success of your idea, the initial criticism, "It will never scale," instantly sounds delusional and foolish to the rest of the room. Your results become the immediate, unassailable answer. The family doubter. A family member constantly questions your career path or business decisions, implying you're irresponsible. The average response is to spend holidays trying to justify your choices with long explanations. The strategic response is to simply present a consistent, visible reality. The car you drive, the time you command, the quality of your focus, and your general air of prosperity. You do not debate your decisions, you display the consequence of them. When your financial freedom is obvious, their doubt instantly morphs into obvious jealousy. The man who excels in his field has no need to argue with people who have never excelled at anything. The man who builds empires does not debate with people who have never built anything substantial. The man who commands respect does not explain himself to people who have never commanded anything. Your critics will always exist. There will always be people who fail to understand your methods, question your choices, and doubt your abilities. This is not a problem to be solved. It is a reality to be accepted. Use criticism as fuel, not as a need for validation. When someone says you can't do something, let that power your determination to prove them wrong through action, not argument. When someone questions your methods, let your results answer them. When someone doubts your potential, let your achievements speak for you. The objective is not to convince everyone you are right. The ultimate goal is to be so undeniably, obviously successful that any argument against you becomes psychologically pointless. Silence your critics through excellence. Build something so profoundly impressive that criticism instantly looks like pathetic jealousy. Achieve something so undeniable that doubt looks like sheer delusion. Stop wasting valuable energy arguing with people who will never respect you anyway. Start excelling only in areas where respect is earned, measured, and mandated through results. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I silence critics with success, not arguments. The sixth commandment. Control your reputation, command your presence. Every single person you encounter forms a decisive opinion about you in the first 7 seconds. That immediate, primal judgment determines precisely how they treat you, the level of respect they grant you, and the scope of influence they believe you possess. Most men leave this critical evaluation entirely to chance. You, the strategist, are going to seize this moment and control your reputation like a precision tool. Your reputation is far more than simply your appearance. It is the energy you inject into every space you occupy. It is the palpable vibe people feel the moment you are near. It is the narrative, the stories people inevitably tell about you when you are no longer in the room. The law of necessary reserve. Your first step is to stop talking so much. Influential men do not frantically fill every silence with nervous chatter. They do not exhaust themselves explaining every decision. They do not feel the need to justify every choice. The strategic inverse is true. When you speak less, people listen more. When you reveal less, people respect more. Mystery is a psychological magnet. Do not give away your entire life story in the first conversation. Do not explain your methods to your competition. Do not reveal your most vital plans to people who have not definitively earned your trust. Keep them perpetually curious. Keep them wondering. Your reputation must precede you like a positive, gravitational force. People should instinctively know your standards before they even meet you. They should understand your boundaries before they dare to test them. They should respect your core capabilities before they even experience them. Machiavelli said, "Men judge more by the eye than the hand." This is your key. People judge you far more by what they visibly perceive than by the objective reality of what you actually do. Use this profound psychological reality to your strategic advantage. Control what they see. The scenario of projected authority. Your physical presence is a continuous narrative. Picture yourself entering a difficult room. The weak man enters apologetically, shrinking his posture, looking for an empty chair. The master enters with quiet authority. He stands like he owns every room he enters. He walks like he is moving toward a highly important destination that nothing can stop. He sits like he is the most capable person present, even if he remains the quietest. Your response to pressure reveals your true, deepest character. When chaos erupts, you must become the calm, deliberate center. When people panic, you become the steady, unwavering force. When others lose emotional control, you are the singular person who maintains it. This consistency builds fundamental trust. Be the same controlled person under intense pressure as you are under generous praise. Be the same person when you are winning as when you are struggling. This unwavering presentation allows your actions to build your lasting legend. When you need to distance yourself from a toxic influence, do so completely and permanently. When you need to stand your ground, do not move an inch. When you need to make a definitive point, make it unforgettable. But your projected image must be backed by substance. Let your competence speak for itself. Be relentlessly excellent at what you do. Be reliably effective when people need true solutions. Be the undeniable solution when problems arise, because influence without competence is simply background noise. You must actively control the narrative about who you are. Do not allow other people to define you based on their own limited understanding or fragile worldview. Do not let past-contained mistakes become your permanent identity. Do not allow other people's opinions to become your reality. You decide who you are. You decide what you represent. You decide how people remember you. Your reputation becomes your sharpest tool. Your unshakable presence becomes your reliable protection. Your consistent character becomes your greatest, most defensible asset. Build it deliberately. Protect it fiercely. Use it strategically. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my reputation. My presence commands respect. The seventh commandment. Make excellence an unyielding discipline. Excellence is not a casual accessory you utilize when the mood strikes you. It is not something you selectively deploy for special occasions or public performance. Excellence is a ruthless discipline you practice every single day, regardless of whether a soul is watching. Most men tragically misunderstand this, believing excellence is reserved for big, visible moments, the crucial presentation, the final confrontation with a disrespectful adversary, the public moment they finally take a stand. But real foundational excellence is forged exclusively in the invisible moments. It is defined by how you force yourself to wake up when your body craves sleep, how you manage small, corrosive annoyances throughout the day, how you treat people who can offer you absolutely nothing in return, and how you respond when nobody, no external scorekeeper, is keeping track. These unseen moments are where your character is irrevocably forged. Your character determines your destiny, and your destiny determines whether you become someone people are compelled to respect or someone they effortlessly overlook. The law of necessary discomfort. Comfort is the enemy of excellence. The moment you become too comfortable, you become immediately predictable. When you become predictable, you become effortlessly manageable. When you become manageable, you are ruthlessly overlooked. The man who consciously chooses comfort over challenging growth is simultaneously choosing stagnation over progress. He chooses to remain utterly average instead of transforming into the exceptional. He chooses to stay exactly where he is instead of ascending to where he could be. Machiavelli's observation holds true across the centuries. Fortune favors the disciplined. Your daily disciplines do not just build habits, they become your psychological superpowers. When you consistently do what you said you would do, especially when every fiber of your being resists it, you construct unshakable self-trust. When you keep promises to yourself, you develop an unstoppable internal confidence. Your personal standards become the bedrock of your character. When you know what you stand for, nobody can force you to compromise. When you know what you will not tolerate, nobody can easily push you around. When you define your non-negotiables, nobody can successfully negotiate you down. To understand the strategic value of this discipline, picture this common internal struggle. The alarm rings at 5:30 a.m. for a critical workout. Your average self hits the snooze button, rationalizing, "I'll go later, I'll start tomorrow. One day won't matter." This is a moment of self-betrayal. The disciplined man, however, immediately forces himself out of bed. This act is not about the workout itself. It is a declaration of sovereignty over his own feelings. He is proving in a silent, private crucible that he controls his life, not the temporary weakness of his body. He is building mental strength that will serve him hours later in a high-stakes meeting. You must build disciplines that actively forge strength. Wake up early, even when the desire to sleep is overwhelming. Exercise immediately, even when you feel depleted. Attack the hardest, most necessary task first, even when you crave procrastination. Keep your word, especially when it is profoundly inconvenient. These are not just good habits. These are excellence practices. Every time you choose discipline over immediate comfort, you are depositing mental strength into your strategic reserve. Every time you force yourself to do something difficult, you are proving to yourself that you control your trajectory, not your fleeting feelings. Other men will mock you, calling you extreme or too intense. They will preach relaxation and self-indulgence. These are the very same men who will inevitably be asking you for financial help and advice when their own undisciplined lives fall apart. Let them choose easy. You are choosing effective. Let them choose temporary pleasure. You are choosing permanent strength. Let them choose comfort. You are choosing the relentless climb of excellence. Make excellence your philosophy. Make strength your daily practice. Make discipline your sacred, unyielding ritual. Because when life inevitably tests you, and it will test you, the disciplined man succeeds while the comfortable man struggles and ultimately fails. The final command: absolute unstoppability. This is the culminating point of your transformation. This is where you decisively transcend the limitations of the ordinary man and enter a realm that most will only ever glimpse in envy. This is the moment you become truly unbreakable, unbending, and utterly unstoppable. To be unstoppable means that no external event, no matter how chaotic or malicious, can ever disturb your profound internal peace. People can launch malicious criticism, but it will not shake your self-defined confidence. They can deliver crippling disappointment, but it will not catch you by surprise. They can issue severe challenges, but they will not break your resolve. The unstoppable man has achieved the one thing most people deem impossible: complete, non-negotiable independence from other people's opinions, reactions, and approval. The strategic value of immunity. This state is not cold-heartedness, it is strategic emotional intelligence. You still choose to care for people, but you do not need them to validate your existence. You still love, but your emotional completeness does not depend on being loved in return. You still connect, but your survival is not contingent upon that connection. Let them call you arrogant, self-assured, or ruthlessly independent. Accept these labels as irrelevant observations, without defense or explanation. When the average person fails to comprehend your strength, they will inevitably try to pull you back down to their level. Do not go. You no longer reside in that realm of fear. Your formidable influence is now derived from self-mastery, not from fragile external control. Your strength is now drawn from internal discipline, not from fleeting outside validation. Your victory is assured by personal excellence, not by fragile public recognition. Machiavelli's counsel rings with final authority. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. You have become unstoppable through a commitment to radical self-reliance. You require no one's permission to be your true, powerful self. You require no one's cooperation to build your life. You require no one's approval to pursue your ultimate goals. This does not mean you become isolated. It means you become decisively selective. You meticulously choose who earns access to your time, your energy, and your attention. You rigorously decide who deserves your investment. You seize control over who is permitted to influence your decisions. The unstoppable man operates from a position of abundance, not scarcity. He possesses so many options and capabilities that he is never desperate for any particular outcome. He has cultivated such profound internal strength that he is never dependent on precarious external support. He has built such unyielding character that he is never compromised by the volatile judgment of others. The final test of the unstoppable man. When you achieve the state of unstoppability, the world will not celebrate. It will test you relentlessly. People will constantly look for cracks in your foundation. They will search frantically for the buttons they can push. They will exhaust themselves trying to find a single way to affect, control, or manipulate you. Let them exhaust themselves trying. They will find nothing because you have surgically and systematically eliminated every weakness. You have transformed your uncertain self. You have built an impenetrable fortress mind. You have mastered the tool of silence. You have transformed setbacks into strategic fuel. You have learned to never show weakness, even when you feel it. You have controlled your reputation with mastery. You have made excellence a daily, sacred discipline. You have become an entity that transcends normal human limitations. You have become unstoppable. Your challengers will exhaust their energy trying to bring you down. Your critics will waste their finite resources trying to shame you. Your doubters will tire themselves attempting to break your spirit. And you will simply keep rising because you cannot be held back, broken, or stopped. You have become legendary. The immutable transformation. You started this video as one person. You are finishing it as someone completely different. The profound psychological transformation you have undergone in these minutes will send seismic ripples through every area of your life. You now understand the 8 pillars of unstoppable influence. You know how to surgically eliminate uncertainty and cultivate unshakable confidence. You know how to build mental fortresses that cannot be penetrated. You know how to use silence as a devastatingly powerful tool. You know how to transform setbacks from painful wounds into strategic fuel. You know how to never show weakness, even when you feel it. You know how to control your reputation like a master strategist. You know how to make excellence a sacred practice. You know how to become completely unstoppable. This is not just knowledge. This is irreversible transformation. You are no longer the same person who clicked on this video. You have evolved. You have awakened. You have become influential. The world will try to test your new strength immediately. People will push against your new boundaries. Your old, weak programming will attempt to seduce you back into uncertainty. Stand firm. You have come too far to retreat now. You are no longer the man who gets talked down to. You are the man whose presence commands attention. You are no longer the man who begs for respect. You are the man who expects it and receives it as a matter of right. You are no longer the man who gets pushed around by circumstances. You are the man who shapes circumstances to serve his vision. The man watching this conclusion is fundamentally different from the man who watched the introduction. You have been empowered. You have been transformed. You have been made unstoppable. Your uncertain self is transformed. Your fortress mind is fully operational. Your silence is loaded and ready. Your setback fuel tank is perpetually full. Your weakness is hidden from challenging eyes. Your reputation is under your complete control. Your excellence discipline is unshakable. Your unstoppable status is achieved. You cannot be held back because your influence transcends mere words. You cannot be broken because your strength is absolute. You cannot be stopped because your victory was decided the moment you chose transformation over comfort. The world is waiting for you to claim your place in it. Stop asking for permission. Stop hoping for opportunities. Stop waiting for someone to give you what you can take for yourself. You are unbreakable. You are unbending. You are unstoppable. Now go out there and prove it. This is your moment. This is your influence. This is your time. Take everything.